All right. People are going to ask, what is it like to drive a LBZ Duramax? If you have non-stock LBZ Duramax, if you have big tires on it or lift, your interpretation is going to be different. This is a just the keys turn maybe just a little bit on 285 75 R16s, and these are BF Goodrich KO2, so they're pretty light tires. So not a heavy set of tires that we're swinging around, and they are on stock wheels. Again, a light setup. What is it like to drive one of these things? Well, compared to a modern truck, what are you missing out on? They are very smooth. They're very relatively easy to drive. The part throttle, quarter throttle driving, of course, could be anywhere from dead slow to being, just fine. And then if you step in just a little bit harder, about to half throttle, it's pretty nippy, and they hold their own. There's plenty of torque, like we're doing right now, to come out of a corner and speed up a little bit. Know that the speedometer is about 5 off or so on these tires. Handling wise, they handle pretty good. These are pretty light trucks. They're pretty easy to toss into a corner. There is a little bit of body roll with a stock GMT 800. Sure, they have nice sway bars, but it doesn't corner quite as flat as, say, my 2023 F350. Why, I don't know, because my truck sits higher, it's on bigger tires, but it has nice ride compliance, we should probably say. It's not that it's bad for it to be smooth. It's just that when you pitch it into a corner, there definitely is a little bit more body sway, even though it rides low, much lower than my comparative truck. I just left a buddy's house, and I was just trying to let it get a little bit of heat in it. You should know that, when I started off, the water was a little bit above 160, and this is going to be pretty close to maximum water temp in the cold. Right now it is 31 degrees out. I need to what I'm going to do tonight is get onto Amazon and find the truck did not come with a bra for the grill. Why does that matter? Well, these trucks are set up to be able to climb grades like Davis Dam and things like that at whatever their max towing capacity is. In this case, I'm pretty sure all single-wheel Duramaxes like this are rated at 12K. If I'm not wrong, even the dually's rated at 12K, which is crazy. But that is taking into account, say, 120 degrees towing 12K. So the cooling system on these things are absolutely massive. You're going to find that the transmission is going to stay super cold when it's cool like this without a bra, and the water temp is not going to get very warm. Why does that matter to you? Well, the heat takes a long time to come on. That is why in a modern vehicle, and I'm not even sure if GM and Dodge offer supplemental cab heaters. I'll tell you right now that the Ford supplemental cab heater on my 6.7 works swimmingly, and it is absolutely the best money you're going to spend when you're going to buy a new truck. Know that any of these old trucks are going to be not like that. My Cummins, unless I put, usually I use a piece of display board was what I'd use on my Cummins, just because I didn't have a bra, and the Dodges don't have a good provision to put a bra in the truck, whatever. GM had these nice plastic clips, and generally they didn't break, in a nice leather bra that came with the trucks. This truck didn't come with it, unless I dig around under the back seat and find it. I don't think it has it. The speed control on these things, it's a little dark, but there's a little selector switch on the end of the turn signal stalk, and you just click in on the button, and that engages the speed control. That is a very intuitive and easy speed control to use. I think it's better than modern systems, GMT 800s. That is really nice for me as a left-handed driver. I generally drive with my left hand, and that puts my middle finger exactly right onto the turn signal stalk. I really, really like the speed control on GMT 800. Steering, in general, they're a little heavier potentially than especially an adaptive cruise, like a higher option modern truck. The steering wheel on this truck feels almost identical to my STX that does not have adaptive steering, and I don't really care for adaptive steering and things like that because it's more things to go wrong. One great thing about this truck in general is that there isn't a horrible amount of things that can go wrong with this setup. We do have a little bit of heat in the truck now, so I'll get on it a little bit. I haven't even gone. I definitely am not going to be beating on. This is what I think to be a 200,000 mile Allison, and it works perfectly. I'm not here to beat on stuff. That is not what we're trying to do. I don't necessarily have budgeted quite yet for a, and yes, I did roll through that stop sign a long ways. At this intersection, it is best to pull up and get a good view of what's going on with this goofy intersection. So I did that for a reason. Oh, Dersey, where's he?
Wait, no, that's not.
Oh,
that's a dog.
That's a German Shepherd. Hey, buddy, go home, please. In the dark, it is best to be careful. But as you can see, it definitely has a good bit to work with. As far as I know, this is a stock tune. The turbo comes nicely alive with this 3-inch downpipe. I gotta tell you guys, I believe in airflow modifications. This truck, as far as I know, is a stock tune, still is EGR, and it has a 4-inch turbo back exhaust. When I say that lightly because, of course, you have to have a downpipe in there. 3 inches, as far as I know, is the biggest downpipe you can put on a Duramax and fit it at the firewall, as far as I know, without doing anything too crazy or cutting away or whatever. Anything more, and you're going to have to run a hood stack. A 3-inch downpipe makes an unbelievable difference to both sound, turbo responsiveness, and fun to drive. I have very fond memories of driving my dad's 100% stock Duramax that he bought new in 2007 and had for about 107,000 miles. I have really good memories of that truck, and I remember a lot of it. I took my driver's test in that truck when I was 18 years old. My parents didn't let me get a license at 17. I had to wait till I was 18. So I have pretty strong memories of that truck. This truck drives exactly the same as his truck. It just happens to be 15 years later or more, or approximately. So we'll do a little takeoff again. Again, I'm not trying to beat on the truck. They are fun, easy trucks to drive. They certainly are not dogs. They're certainly not useless. We're going to be waiting here a while because I didn't get up on it. What else can we talk about here? The brakes. These have Hydro Boost system as long as the power steering pump is working properly and as long as there's no issues with the Hydro Boost unit. The brakes are very good in terms of pedal feel. They shouldn't have any kickback. This system works really well. When you start having trouble with the Hydro Boost system, you're going to start feeling when you get on the brakes to try to kick back at you. Generally, that's an indication that you got a problem and that you're going to need to deal with. Better turn off those bright lights. So, 6-speed versus 5-speed. The 6-speed Allison has exactly the same fifth gear ratio as a 5-speed Allison. The 6-speed is a bonus gear. And is it a bad thing? Well, you go from basically 1,500 RPM at this speed, drop it down to, say, 1,280 or 1,300. Does it make that big of a difference? I'm going to tell you right now, towing, generally speaking, it's not going to make a difference. We will see how this thing performs. My memory of it is generally in tow-haul mode, you would be not using 6th for most speeds relevant to someone who doesn't live in Texas with an 85-mile-an-hour speed limit. We will see how this truck does. There's always a chance that my dad's truck, being that it came with its OEM calibration, he got it. I distinctly remember coming home from a snowboarding trip with my mom and my cousin who came up from Florida to snowboard with me. And it was sitting in the driveway, and my dad was all excited to show it to me and whatever, because I had no idea it was going to get an LBZ Duramax. So that must have been probably in early March. I wouldn't think it was February, but it would have been an early build 2007 truck, would have been my dad's truck. There's always a chance that it had a different calibration than this truck has, because they change calibrations as time goes on. You have no idea what kind of tune updates came from the factory or were done by the dealer, as whoever owned this truck. You're seeing a little bit that it is a little bit bumpy. I have not checked the air pressure on these tires. The middles are blown out of them. I'm sure that they're overpressurized. They're probably at 80. We are going in on Friday for a brand new set of tires. This section of road is terrible. So I'm not trying to rip on the truck too bad, but they ride good, but they still ride like a truck. And it'll be interesting to go back to back with my truck versus this truck. But with my tires aired down properly for an empty truck, or air them up properly when I am towing, it rides basically as good or better than this truck. So it's not that IFS just always rides better, because it simply doesn't. The IFS is a downside. It is one of the Achilles heels to this truck, and it is something that we're going to have to deal with over time. I think that everything is in pretty good nick in terms of ball joints, wheel bearings, and tie rods for right now. Eventually it's going to get, I'm sure, kryptonite stuff as we need to make changes or improvements with time. This thing does have the all lights on brights mod. The prior owner told me. I didn't know about that. I guess there's a module that you can hook up to these. I've been out of GMT 800s for a good while, and I didn't ever have one with fog lights. This is a pretty high option truck, so I didn't realize that was a thing. So we got high beams and fogs on at the same time. And I'm not sure if regulars are on too. I'm pretty sure it's just high beams and fogs for this. I think if you had regulars on, you'd probably start overheating the lenses too. So it's pretty bright. The factory radios are kind of leave a lot to be desired. A lot of times they have electrical problems. The factory radios do tend to get replaced. This one is factory. It doesn't turn off, which is a common problem with the factory radio. I'm sure that we'll end up putting in a doubled in nice radio that we can have Bluetooth and USB ports and all that good stuff. So we'll get to that point. I'm sure that the truck will improve ride quality with a new set of tires. I'm looking forward to doing that and having them properly aired down. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have them put them at 50 front, 45 rear when I get them, and we will see how they go from there. That should make a big difference. This is a truck that you could sit here and drive cross country, no problem. GMT 800s have wonderful, comfortable seats. The driving position is extremely good. I am 6'2" and a big guy, and I am still comfortable in this seat. I do generally ride. That's why you guys keep getting annoyed, I'm sure, with the steering wheel being up. I do have the steering wheel tipped up a little bit, which is the way I like to drive. I kind of like to have that, tractor feeling of the steering wheel up in the air. I've always kind of been like that, steering wheel all the way up. So after all this driving, we are still pretty cold on the trans, and that is entirely normal because of how big the transmission oil cooler is on these trucks. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea how they drive. We're going to be learning a lot about this truck as time goes on, as we make some subtle improvements with the new trailer hitch that I mentioned and the Timbrens, and then we're going to get it out behind a trailer, and we're going to see how that goes. I actually haven't even looked to see if this thing has a trailer brake controller. When I'm not driving, I will take a look at that. We may need to throw a trailer brake controller on this if it doesn't have one. I know that it towed in the past, so you think that it would have it, but I'm not sure if it does currently, and I don't mind putting a brand new one in if it doesn't have it. I'd be kind of surprised if it doesn't, but it very well might not. My dad's truck always got about 18.7, 18.9 for fuel economy when I get those brights off. And that was the best that it would do. That was on stock tires, which were very lightweight, highway tires. We will see how this thing does with the slightly bigger tires I'm going to run, and we'll go from there. Like I said, we're 5 over right now. Eventually, when we get this thing tuned, which I don't plan on doing that for a good while, we're going to really enjoy this truck OEM, because I got to tell you guys, with this downpipe that's on it, this is a very fun and lively truck to drive. And that's exactly why I wanted to make this drive-along video and talk about what it's like to drive these things, because I know that this is a dream vehicle for a lot of people, and I'm kind of living my personal dream right now to get back into an LBZ after not being in one for a very long time, and I'm excited to have it someday in the condition that I kind of picture in my mind would be the ultimate version of this truck. And right now, having it drive this good after just buying it, and having a nice exhaust system on it, and a nice having a 3-inch downpipe, it is miserable putting a downpipe onto these trucks. So having it already done is a huge leg up. The exhaust sounds good. I'm sure you've probably already seen the short with the exhaust clip in it, and maybe I'll throw it in here just for good measure at the end, just because I want to have everyone get that, because it sounds good. You know what I haven't checked yet is the horn on this truck. All right, horn works. That is important. I'm sure that I've overlooked things before. I will do a walk around of how I approach buying a used vehicle. I think I'm fairly good at weeding out the honesty of a used vehicle, and maybe for sure we're going to make a video like that. I've gone along with quite a few people when they go buy a vehicle to assess the condition of vehicles, because I've just had so much experience dealing with keeping old trucks on the road, knowing exactly what goes on with them. And I knew exactly what to look for in this truck, and I think that it is a pretty solid example. Even the direction and the temp works on that rear view mirror. I'm so jazzed to be in this truck and be sharing it with you today. Let me know what you'd like to see with this truck. within reason, of course. It's a very nice truck. I'm very proud of this truck. This is definitely, we just went on a date night in it, and so this is a valued member of the family now. This is not going to be destroyed, or there will be no squatting. There will be no 24 wide or 24 inch with 12 wides or whatever. None of that is going to be going on this channel. So don't be recommending that. But if there's any videos you guys that would like to see in regards to this, we will definitely get it towing when it's got a new hitch on it. I do not monkey around with these round tube hitches, as I mentioned, which I will continue to mention, because the round tube hitches, I've just notoriously seen them fail, and I'm not going to play that game. It doesn't take that long to get a hitch shipped and to install it. We will be going from there. It's going to need to have a lift pump, because Duramax never came with lift pumps. As good as this thing runs, it deserves to have a lift pump. And I think that concludes it. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful day. And if you want to see more about this 07 LBZ and what I'm going to do with it and the fun we're going to have with it and putting it to work, make sure you subscribe so that you see it. And again, let me know in the comment section what you think about or what you'd like to see in regards to this truck. I have a lot of plans with it, and you're going to see this video after the original or the first video of this truck. So if you haven't seen that yet, check out that video. It'll be in the playlist along with this video, so you can check that out too. And we'll see you then. Take care all, and have a great day.